Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the show. It is number 2 of a week of Eagles Chat. We will be joined very, very shortly. In a few minutes' time, about 10 minutes' time, we will be joined by Richard. He's going to be joining us talking about all the things of the Heritage Project and what that is bringing to the club over the next 12, 18 months, 2 years. The funding that was given by the lottery, and very simply, he's going to be going on with what it means to be an Eagles, what it means to be an Eagles fan, what it means to be, what does next Monday mean to us, what does everything else that's been going on with the club, how have you managed over the last 9 years, how we've things. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. And with all the things that's been happening with the club over the last 38 years of existence, really. It's going to be a great night. I'm looking forward to it in every more ways than one. And I hope everybody else is doing it as well. Thank you so much to the wonderful reaction we've had to the Mark Aston interview we did yesterday. It was an absolute pleasure to do it with Mark. I loved him. I loved the fact that we got to manage to do it. And it was in the week building up to the first game at the new stadium. And I was very, very emotional when I finished. I was a bag of nerves. But I did a promise. I put it up on YouTube. It is on YouTube now. We've got nearly 20 subscribers in that channel. And I am very, very proud of that. It's very, very nice to see that people like us on other platforms as well as watching it on YouTube. They can watch it on Facebook, and then they can watch it on YouTube as well. So we are trying our best to get on more platforms as we're going. Last night, the result that came from the championship was Batley Bulldogs 0, Lee 52. And they were saying, and you should have seen all the comments that came out of it. It was like, well, it's full versus part-time, innit? What do you expect? Take a look a week before at the results of the Eagles, pal. Batley, at home, with their home advantage, couldn't score a point against Lee. That's my case. I think that was a bit of a wake-up call for Batley Bulldogs more than anything else. So it's a really nice thing to do. I will take requests in for the jerseys that I'll be wearing this week. I'm going to mix him up, really. I think they were like that. Hell, here he is. He's Mr. King himself. He's joining us straight away. I thought he was a bit early. He said 1/4 to me. But he's doing it. And here we go. He's there. There he is. Good evening, sir.
Evening. You all right?
Yeah, thank you very much for taking the time to do this. I know you're a busy man.
No problem.
With all the Heritage projects. What is your official title? Some people said manager, some say co-coordinator.
Just let me check my emails. I can't remember. Look, I think it's project officer. Yeah, project officer. Yeah.
How long have you been involved with the Eagles then as a supporter? Was it just from like 84 or
89? So I think you mentioned it yesterday that it was the game against Widnes at Bramall Lane. So
yeah,
that was the first game I ever went to with my dad. It was the week after the Widnes were world champions. So we went along to Bramall Lane, and I think following season we started watching. So 1990, getting season tickets then, and then sister joined us year after. So we've been season ticket holders, all three of us, since 91.
Wow, 30-year anniversary.
Yeah, and all three of us have got our seats together for the new stadium. So for next week.
You're looking forward to it? Stupid question.
I think
Silly
so.
Question.
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting for me because I'm involved in the junior park run, so I'm down there most weeks. So everybody else is talking about the dramatic changes because I've seen it every week. You don't notice it as much, but yeah, it's looking good, and it's going to make a big difference. So yes.
Well, the Heritage Project, it seemed as if like it's been lottery funded, and it's come from there, and you've been great to be put into this position. It's nice to know that somebody that's like you said, 30 years an Eagles fan, you've done you've tread the boards, you've been through the heartaches, you've been through everything. So I can't think of a better person to do it. Really, it's
thanks. Yeah, I mean it's because it is funded by the National Lottery Heritage Fund, and in some ways it doesn't really matter that I'm a fan. It helps because obviously I know a lot of the people, a lot of the stories, but kind of from my professional side, I've got a background in Heritage Project, so it's come together really nicely in terms of that kind of knowledge. And there's lots of projects out there. Dewsbury have just got funding last week for a similar project. So there's lots of these projects around, which is good for the game.
Who was your first heroes watching the Eagles?
I don't know. I think you kind of get the nuggets throughout the years. So you got people like Darryl and Mark, but then you get Huey Waddell and kind of Bruce Maguire and people like that. So I think there's not a particular one, but there's ones that you kind of associate with different eras and kind of different periods.
Yeah, I found today is like we just got the sad news that Maurice Lindsay had passed away. And I typed in Maurice Lindsay on YouTube, and they came up with this debate about the Super League in 95, 96. And one of the people on it is Bruce Maguire with his curl back ponytail. And the last thing that Maurice Lindsay said, and it made me chuckle, was there was on about Featherstone getting into the Super League and all this. And they said, well, I know for a fact that the check that they cashed for Mark Aston to Sheffield Eagles bounced. So they didn't pay for Mark Aston. And I went, Tubby gets everywhere. He even gets in the biggest debate in rugby league in the last 30 odd years. And he even gets a mention on it. So, but that if anybody's got a spare 40 odd minutes, that is one of the best things to ever watch. It's all about the time when the Super League was created and how many days. And you had Maurice Lindsay, Ray French. You had all these great guys that were talking about it. Keithley was on it as well, saying why they're not being promoted. I recommend it to anybody. It's the rubbish coverage of a lot, but if you can just listen to it and listen to everybody talking about it, to say it's nearly 25 years ago, it's a well worth listen for 40 minutes on YouTube. And
that's the thing. There's a lot of this stuff dotted around, and same with the Eagles stuff. I looked through my old hard drives and found kind of clips of Look North from 2008 and all that kind of stuff. So there's lots of stuff, and that's part of what the project's about, bringing it all together, but finding what people have got, and because it's never been brought together in one place. Even things like the heritage numbers, that sense. Richard Pepper's pulled those together, but what can we do to get people get access to those?
Well, I think there's a lot of people going crazy about that already. They're asking what heritage numbers this player, what is this one, who's this one. I think there's a lot of people that's very interested in me. I don't know how they're doing it. I think they said they were doing it on the fact that when they started playing it, so like Andy Tyers is number one, and then Daryl's
it never mentions that.
I bet not. He mentioned it about 5 times when he came on last year. So Darryl will be 3, Gary Etherington will be 9. Vince Farrer will be 10. Dave Alred, the famous kicker, number 5. So there's all these people. Another will be number 14. So
Mark Aston is 63, I think.
Is he really?
So yeah.
Wow.
60. It's a higher number than you think. And I think the current number is something like 537. So I think it's not been updated since. So it was Will Wallace. So it'll be Tom Holmes, I think, will be the latest one.
Yeah. I think some people they might get an interest in it is Richie Armstrong, because he was the first Sheffield lad to play first team rugby. He wasn't the first Sheffield to be signed, but he was the first Sheffield lad to play first team rugby for the Eagles. So it'd be interesting to see what number he gets, because I like to say to him, "Oh, look, your heritage numbers here."
Yeah, I can't remember, and that's the good thing about it. Players being able to look back and see where they are in that, and so we're looking to do that as well for the wheelchair team, because it's relatively early stages, and the women's team as well, so that it's all kind of consistently done.
Yeah, there's so many teams spread up this year. I think there's wheelchair, there's the guys that's the learning disabilities. It's tonight.
Yeah,
there's the women's, there's girls, there's everything popping up everywhere. It's wonderful to see.
Yeah, Andrew is doing a great job with that. Again, it's kind of from nothing to get in that. And I was chatting with the wheelchair coach last week, and kind of the kind of captain, the manager of the women's team, and the same with the learning disabilities team. They started off with like 3 or 4, and they're growing it each week, even in just 4 or 5 weeks. So it's growing all the time. So it's got to be good. It's got to be good.
Put the seeds, and everybody will come to it. So how long is your heritage? Is it 2 years?
2 years, yeah. And I'm 7 weeks into it, so the first 7 weeks has flown by. So that's 2 years running up to March 24. Sorry. So that takes in obviously next year being the 25th anniversary of the Challenge Cup, and then what we can do to plan ahead for the 40th anniversary of the club in September 2024.
That's going to be big plans.
Yeah. But again, obviously the big one is the kind of hooks to hang it on. So obviously what we're trying to get up first is something like a website where we can start to pull this stuff together.
Yeah.
And big focus for next year will be around the Challenge Cup. So that sense of nothing specific organised yet, but the idea of events. Maybe we can look at films, podcasts, get people interviewed, talk about
I've got it over there. There's it's my favorite item I've got a video cassette that I've got from 1998, and it's the whole grandstand from the day they won the Challenge Cup. So it's got all the horse racing on and all the build up and the little snippets and everything on that program for that day was on there. And,
I've got it as well. I found it on my drive last week. I digitized it and again, got those little short bits in between kind of the build up. So not a great quality copy.
No, I didn't put mine in. I didn't put it in because if the tape will just go and disintegrate. I didn't put it in anything.
I think that's why I transferred mine across about 10, 15 years ago, just so I'd got a copy.
Wonderful. I mean, with the heritage side, I think has there been many players you've contacted so far? Or
not really, because again, it's first kind of couple of weeks have just been not getting stuff in place, and it is about how we tackle it. So it is about probably looking at the Challenge Cup team first of all, but just seeing who's around. So I know Paul McDermott's been on here, and he's been in touch and have a chat. So I set aside some time for that, and just you could just chat to some of these players for ages. So every time I've been down in the office, with Mark, you could chat for it. The stories he tells you, you could just it could go on forever. Yeah. So it's about doing it in an organised way, getting a kind of pulled together and getting fans involved as well, and fans and other people involved as well to do the interviews and get involved from that side.
Yeah, you've seen the getting the things out about the stadium for next week and what it means to them.
Yeah, that's that idea that we only get one chance to have the first game, so people go into the game next week and take photographs, videos, do voice notes, just write emails, just because it is historic kind of turning point. So, and that's what we're looking to do. Kind of having conversations with the Rugby League archives in Huddersfield. So what can we do that goes into those kind of central archives and the archives in Sheffield? So it's not lost.
So what is so you've been doing this show as your Eagles shirt. What's yours?
Mine's the one I keep putting up on the photographs. It's that one from '98, the blue one. So that's why I keep using the same image, because I've just got it in my drawer.
Oh, good. Any favorite other shirts you had?
No, I think my sister had posted up the eagle that goes across the front, the multicolored one.
Yeah,
but I still think the Full Monty one. Yeah, because you see that every time you watch Full Monty, and that pops up. It's not necessarily is it the best design? I'm not sure it's the best design, but it's the one you kind of.
It's the one they never won in. It's the one that they never won a game in it. So I don't know if it's the most popular one with the players, but with the fans and everything, it's got to be the biggest PR disaster the Eagles ever had. They signed a new contract with a new company and get rid of the Full Monty jersey just as the Full Monty is coming out at the cinema. Oh my God. I remember got offered loads of money for mine. I think I walked out of the cinema with just a jumper on because somebody just offered me stupid money for my jersey. And at the time I just thought, I'll get another one somewhere. It took me about 20 years to get one, but I got one eventually. But I think, just like you said, there's so much heritage. There's so much history to go with the club. I mean, the moves from Oleton, and then the fact that we had to shut Oleton down because of the Hillsborough disaster, and then went on the travels that year, and then sounds familiar. And then we got Don Valley Stadium, and then 13 years later from that, 23 years later, that gets taken away, and then on the site of the old Don Valley, it's now the new stadium. But I think it's a cracking job you're doing. I mean, the 25 years of the Challenge Cup is a big, massive thing. It's got to be, because everybody knows it with the Eagles.
Yeah.
What's your memories of it?
It's strange. I was talking to my sister last week. I can't remember much of the game. I remember little snippets of travelling down, of being in the ground, the celebrations afterwards, stopping at the service station on the way back. In terms of remembering the game, I can't really remember much of it. I only remember it through watching the kind of the video on DVD afterwards. I think the kind of one of the things is just going, this isn't going to last. We're doing well. They're going to catch us. They're going to beat us. And it was that second half seeming to last forever.
I think one of my favourite is seeing Darren Turner Rocky, because I was on the school splits and everything. And I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday after the final. And I was walking through Don Valley Stadium going to go to one of the schools. And Rocky comes in. And the first thing I said to him, I just went, how in the world did you manage to get that ball over that line? He says, well, Dr. Mr. Tickle from the Mr. Men. I went, yes, I imagined that was him. I just went, I love you, mate. I love you forever. He says, I've got enough. He said, that will keep me in after dinner speeches for the rest of my life now. Just that one moment. But it's
still great to see. I think great to see players pop up. So I've kept seeing him a couple of times at Featherstone. We've been played at Featherstone. He's popped up on the terraces there, and it's always nice to see different players. And I don't know any of them, but you just look up and go, "Oh, familiar face." And where do I know them from?
Yeah. It's great. I mean, if Tubby says what he says, he wants to get a reunion of the team. I mean, that will be amazing. I mean, to get all the lads together, Nick Pinkney and everybody in it, all the lads together, Matty Crowther and Dave Watson and everybody. That would be a wonderful, wonderful night. Don't care where it is.
Yeah, and to be honest, that's what we're looking at, what we can do in advance of that, kind of talking to them before that. But yeah, doing some kind of event, whether it is like a dinner similar to last week, or whether it's question answer, or a mixture of it all. There will be stuff happening. It's and we've got just under a year now to organise it. So
did you go to the Jason Robinson dinner last week?
Yeah.
How was it?
It was really. I've talked to various people since, and they're all the same. He was amazing as a speaker. He was really, really good. Surprisingly, it wasn't what you expected. He was really open and honest about his struggles, about how he felt on top of the world, but the world was crumbling underneath him. Really, it was. You could hear a pin drop. It was so quiet while he was talking. So yeah, it was a really good event. 200 odd people there, money raised. But I was talking to Mark Hannigan earlier and saying it's really good PR for the club as well. There was a meeting yesterday and Richard Caborn was there, and he'd been at the thing last week and he'd said how much he enjoys it. So there's all these various people dotted around businesses and there's influential people who thinking positively about the club because it was such a good evening.
Yeah. What's your plans for the next couple of months with the project then? What's that got in tails?
I don't know. It's again because it's one of the battles is because it's part-time. You realise how you just got to concentrate your time. First thing I've been working on this afternoon is trying to get commission a website. So we need to get a good, solid website. The amount of information we're going to collect over the next 2 years. So just things like the heritage numbers. So what we're trying to do is do it as a website where you can search about each player. So you can go through the heritage numbers, tag on a player, look at their playing records, but then anything, kind of films or anything attached to that. The memorabilia, so people have got loads of stuff up in the lofts and attics and cupboards, but we've got nowhere to store it or display it. So it's about digitizing that, taking scans of stuff, so we can put it on a website and you can search it from there. So website will be a big one. And starting up with the training, so if people are interested in doing podcasts, do workshops to get them trained up for that, and how to do interviews and that kind of thing.
Well, everything with that one, get me in that one. I'll do anything, mate. Heritage project. I think the earliest thing I've got is this thing. I mean, Mark showed it last night. I mean, I don't know if anybody's got any early ones than this one, but Toby was saying that this was his debut jersey, so it's what he made his debut in it. So
it's not what you'd call a classic design.
No, I think Harry Edgar from Open Rugby had an hand in the design. I know he had an hand in the design of the badge, but he said he wanted a hand in the design, and he took his inspiration from Washington Redskins NFL game, NFL team. So it lasted a couple of years, didn't it? And then we went to the famous red with the chevron that we've got to this day. And,
again, that's one of the things we're looking at is there's no record anywhere that I can find of every shirt home and away every year. Details.
Well, Tubby's got every one of mine from 1984 to 2000. He's got that. I don't think I've got most of the rest of them.
That's what I mean,
between everybody. So
pull that together as like a photographic record, then you can search year by year. It'd be really nice as well at some point to try and do an exhibition of them all, so you could see every shirt together in one place. But again, where the space is for that. So
yeah. He promised me 20 odd years ago that they would. I mean, if ever Sheffield Eagles got a clubhouse, he would put the shirts on display. 23 years late, 22 years later. So I'm still waiting, but I think we might get somewhere now because of the new stadium. But it'd be nice to get the jerseys on display. I mean, everything. I mean, I'd love to see my old ones again. I think it'd be nice to see the players ones that I had and everything, and get them back in and just say, look, I remember that one. And just
even if it's not in real life, if you can do it scanned and do it virtually, so you can get it on the website or have access to it that way. So, and that's one of the things to look, because we're looking at how you can get the schools involved as well, and it's interesting to look at those changes of designs. Over the years.
Well, Gary Eddington was all right to talk to. He'll go for hours. I mean, he's got the interview on here. I mean, he talks about the early days of the Eagles then, and how close it came to folding and all the things. So,
and again, that's what we want to look at, because there's still a chance to talk to people that were there setting it open at the time. So, how the club was formed, what really happened when the club merged and then it restarted again. What the real stories behind it all.
I can tell you that one. I was there that week.
so yeah, I mean, people kind of have their views on Ralph Rimmer, but we're keen to have a chat with him. He wrote a really nice letter of support when we put the bid into Heritage Fund. A really nice letter of support. He didn't. He could have just done a kind of standard one, but he did a really nice letter of support. That all those kind of things help. So very good to talk to him.
I mean, at the end of the day, he was a public development officer, and then he was the chief executive of the Challenge Cup win. And he's just involved in one of the saddest times of the Eagles' history. Though, but that's it. He has to be a bad guy somewhere. I mean, I think last time I spoke to Ralph was like 2003 in London, but that was 2 minutes. But with the heritage thing, it's like you said, it's a massive, massive undertaking. This is like 38 years of history that you're doing part time, and all the work and everything like that. How are you finding time to do it all?
Well, it's the week goes really quickly. So I'm generally doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday morning, but it flies by, and I do all the work as well, so I have to fit that in around it as well. So kind of balancing it from there. So it's been realistic. It's about what we can do, what we can't do. It's harder in the early stages because you get everything set up. So it looks at the moment like nothing much has happened, but that's because we're working behind the scenes. So, and it's getting other people involved, whether it's volunteers or kind of running workshops and things. So yeah, we've got targets that we want to do in terms of what the funders, we've said to the funders, but whether we'll get everything done, I don't know, but we'll get lots done.
What's your favorite? What's your feelings for next Monday?
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's not the complete answer to everything, but it's kind of the stepping stone to move the club on. It'll be interesting to be down there. There's bound to be teething problems, and some people won't like it, but just have somewhere where the seats don't rock and you're not in danger of losing your phone down the back of the temporary scaffolding, and you can go to the toilet without the whole building rocking. And so, yeah, I think, it's a starting point. And it's going to be interesting now what, when, and if the next phases happen of the stadium and what everything else is going on down there, because that whole area is going to change a lot in the next 5, 10, 15 years.
Yeah. And it's better than having the freezing cold January nights at Don Valley Stadium, if we remember them nights.
Yeah, but that's sort of, there was a character to, some kind of character to it, but you got used to it. I think it's going to be, from the experiences of being down there already, just in the temporary stand, I think there's going to be a good atmosphere. You're going to be right on the action. And what I found last time we played there, ended up walking around the other side and standing at the other side, and you got a really good atmosphere there. So I think the design, if people are going to, it's not the biggest stadium in the world, it's the biggest seating, but it's a big progression for us. And I think it's the design of it is going to get the atmosphere going, because it's quite compact and got the roof over it that'll kind of keep the sound in. So yeah, it's a stepping stone for the club.
And personally, thank you very much for everything that you're doing at the moment. It seems like I can't believe somebody's like, it's the mammoth task of all time. It's a really great.
But I think it's that kind of big changes that are going on at the club and the foundation. I think there's a lot of, because I work for the foundation, it's separate to the club, but the stuff that all the trustees have done, and particularly kind of David Butler and Adam Hughes coming in, kind of adding to it. And yeah, Andrea, as a development officer, done huge amounts and raising the profile of the club. And it's good to have somebody else to work with. So we're having regular chats and kind of keeping each other updated. So it's all part of that adding to raising the profile of the club.
Yeah. You said that like the 40th anniversary of the club, which is just 2 years away, really. Yeah. Is there any plans or anything you've been chatting about But
it's
what's
still
happening with
early
that?
stages. The complication is the project will end in March 24, and obviously the anniversary is not till September. So it's what can be done. I think things will happen, and again, it's what you look at in terms of replica shirts for that year. What will you do in terms of events and activities, publications, films, those kind of things. So I think naturally the next 2 years we're going to get lots of information about the club that'll all, I think that, and that's the other thing to do beyond the lifetime of the project. It's stuff that will be there for other people to get access to, whether it's to promote the club or if people are interested, or more research. So yeah, this project's just a stepping stone as well.
But one hell of a stepping stone, though. One hell of a stepping stone.
Yeah, but
really.
it's all part of that for the club, and I think everything's coming together at the moment, off the field, on the field, with the foundation. So,
who are we looking forward to interviewing?
I mean, again, for me, it's just the chance to meet some of the players I kind of watched years ago and hear them, they get their perspective and talk about what they've done. So yeah, there's going to be loads of interesting stories, and I think that's the thing to discover, those kind of small things that you might not remember or that's important to them. So yeah, there's not one particular one, because I think it would probably be the one that I don't expect that is the most interesting or the most illuminating.
Yeah. Good luck getting hold of Bruce McGuire.
Yeah, and again, and that's the thing, you're not be able to contact everybody.
Yeah.
And again, it's the ones that want to talk, but also it's the ones that don't necessarily want to talk or won't put themselves forward. They're probably the more interesting ones.
Yeah. It's a shame. I mean, there's some great players that's no longer here. I mean, the great one, Huey Waddell.
Yeah.
Can you just imagine? I wish Huey was still here, because to put him on something like this, it'd be 2-3 hours long. The stories. I mean, the guy was a legend of the club. They're doing the Superloop in the famous cars and going around and doing it with Betty Largo and stuff like that. He did more with himself and that like that. He was larger than life to everybody that remembers Huey in every shape or form. We miss that guy a lot. It's just such a shame that he's no longer with us.
But you see, that's where the project comes in, because you can talk to people about their memories, whether it's players or fans, and he gets remembered that way, from what he was like as a player, what he was like for the club, what people thought about him. So yeah.
It's going to be a wonderful journey, and I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to, if anybody asks me, I'll be more than happy. So it's going to be a wonderful time for everybody.
That's the thing. It's a case for the project. It's getting people involved. It's going to take time to get used to it. But yeah, just something as simple as somebody taking a photograph next week of the first game. That adds to it. It's doing a quick video of them at the ground with the family or friends. It all adds to it, because it's there. It's part of that first day.
Do you remember the first game at the Don Valley?
No. And again, I was there, I've got no idea about it all. And but again, I've got fond, it's snippets of memories, about fond memories of the ground, and then walking through and looking down to see people training underneath and those kind of things. Of going past on the tram when it was getting demolished. I used to go past every day and see that reduced to rubble, and then the rubble cleared. So yeah, and that's part of it as well. The club's been associated with that area, Attercliffe area, for 30 odd years. That area's changed. I remember Brown Bailey's down there, then Don Valley, and then the new stadium. So it's about, that changes in the area as well.
Yeah, Farrers and the Cocked Hat and everything. That was the Eagles had it. The Eagles was everywhere in Attercliffe. So it's just full circle, isn't it? Really, we're just coming back to everything's there. So, but all in all, it's going to be a wonderful thing to see. I can't wait for the website. I'll be on it every day, looking at it, just having a look at all the players. I'll spend months looking at every single player. I will. I'll always.
That's the day that there is the Rugby League Record Keepers Association. If you looked at their website, that you can lose yourself in hours for that. So just start looking at different players or different clubs, or
I think when we're looking about, I think Davil and all the rest of the guys that, I mean, with the early days, and everybody was like, when Mark was in his early 20s and late teens, and he told the story last night about when he forgot given the job of kicking, and he said he's never kicked in his life, and then next minute he goes 63 games without missing. So he just consecutive. So there's going to be some wonderful stories. Can't thank you very much for coming on.
No,
Mate, it's been wonderful. It's been absolute gentle to chat to you about all this.
Yeah, no problem. I said it's just the early stages, so we've got
Yeah.
more's going to happen, and it's just kind of building it. And it is for everybody. There's chances for everybody to get involved, and and it is about celebrating the club, the highs and the lows.
Yeah. I've got a cracking story about why Freddie the Eagle dived over the advertising boards. I've got that is a crazy story, that one, but that's another one for the mascots and everything. So I'm trying to get away from that mascot era of mine. But I've got a feeling it's going to be around my neck forever. But he's Freddie in it. I loved him to bits. But Richard, thank you so much for coming on. It's amazing to see you on Monday.
Yeah,
take care, my man. Thank you very much for coming on. Bye-bye. That very simply, that is the gentleman. That's Mr. Richard King, who's the heritage coordinator. He's doing everything about it. Simon Travis asks, out of all your tops, Dean, which is your favorite? I haven't got one. They're all my favorites. I love every single one of them. As long as it's got Sheffield Eagles on it, that's the way it goes with me. If anybody wants to come on, I will put the link on in our chat room. You're more than welcome to come on and chat away and tell us your favorites, your memories and everything that's coming over the last 9 years. You can come on. It's a free for all. You're more than welcome to come on and enjoy the fun and everything like that and go from there. It's a week-long thing. We've also got coming up, we've got Mrs. Katie Pizza. She's going to come on and chat about the Eagles. That's going to be emotional. We've also got the media mogul himself, Mr. Dan Fowler, coming on Friday. He's coming up and he's going to be joining us and talking about all the wonderful stuff that he's done and his journey and everything about that. Everybody knows everything about that's been going on. If you see me next Monday, more than likely you will see me with this thing. So you'll definitely know it's me. But all in that, the jerseys, everything I've got with Sheffield Eagles, I would more than gladly give to the Heritage Project. As long as I get them back, don't care. It's history. It's our history. It's Sheffield Eagles history. The days of when we were so close to going to the wall in 2016 and we did the marathon podcast and things like that. Just way getting people and get just where we've come from, where we've gone, where we've been and everything like that. It means the world to a Sheffield Eagles fan. I mean, okay, fair enough. Bradford, Featherstone, Dewsbury, your club's special to you, but this is ours. And it doesn't matter if it's this badge, it doesn't matter if it's that badge, it doesn't matter if it's the one from 1984, it doesn't matter if it's the one from 2000. It says Sheffield Eagles. And even for them short years in the 90s when it just said Eagles, the team was still Sheffield Eagles. And it always has been and always will be. And that's through the efforts of Mr. Mark Aston and all the other wonderful people that's involved in it. Them people that's no longer here. People like Mr. Ian Annis, who very simply used to eat, breathe, sleep, repeat everything to do with rugby league in Sheffield. That man deserves the biggest accolade and everything. If ever there was an honorary membership for life, for anything, he should go into it. If there's ever a Hall of Fame for Sheffield Eagles again, Ian Annis has got to go in straight away. The work he did, the work he put in for the National Lottery, for the Hillsborough Arena, to get the Hillsborough Arena to where it was and everything else like that was absolutely outstanding. Him, Ted Dowd, the work that they did for amateur rugby league in Sheffield was out of this world. When it comes to the amateur rugby league now, you've got Sheffield Forgers, you've got Sheffield Hawks, you've got Durham Valley Bulldogs, you've got all the other teams, Dodworth, you've got Hoyland up there, everything like that. There's always there's a rugby league team in South Yorkshire now, everything. Can you remember somebody being Freddie and somebody giving you a little Easter egg? No, I can't. I cannot remember that, mate. It's just, there's some things I can remember. There's some things I can't because they just, being Freddie was one of the one. I mean, next week when I see the new mascot, I can finally close the book on Freddie for once and for all and get it done with everything like that. The funniest thing about being Freddie was people argued over the way the name was spelt. Now, officially, his name was Freddie. It wasn't the Y, it was IE. It was a 6-letter word, Freddie. but some people still call it with a Y on the end. So it's seven-letter word. Sorry, Freddie. So people will say, no, it's a Y, no, it's IE. And no matter how many posters we had made, and no how many cuddly toys and how many things and all that, they were still having arguments about how you spelt the name Freddie the Eagle. Everybody wanted to call it Eddie. Can't call it Eddie because of the trademark. What name is the next week's? What's name that's going to be next week? Don't forget to email Tasha at natasha.burr@sheffieldeagles.com and put in your suggestions for it to be the next mascot of Sheffield Eagles. It's going to be a big day. It's the new mascot. It's a new home. It's a new mascot, new costume. Everything is there. Who knows? It's just going to be an amazing day. I'm looking forward to it because I want to meet the guy that's doing it. I want to meet the person. Sorry, male or female, could be anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. Somebody's going to be the new mascot of Sheffield Eagles, and their life's going to change forever. When Simon said about what's my favorite top, I know what my least favorite is. It's the 1997 kits, the home and the away. They were awful. The red shirt with the white sleeves, the Avec, and he had the badge in the middle, and he just said Avec, and that was awful. That weren't a rugby jersey. That was a football jersey. That was pathetic. That by Avec, it was awful. The the red one, and the way the blue one. Oh, they're terrible. They complained that much that they did a new design and they came up with the red, white, and blue of the Pepsi shirt, which was the famous one that we wore end of 97, 98, 99, all the way up to the merger. We wore it every year. We wore that same design. So the only thing that changed on that over the years was the fact that we had LG replace the badge. LG went over the top for the badge, so we didn't have a badge on it. And the only time we had a badge on our jerseys in 88, 98, 99 was on the away jersey. Because they had the Eagle, yeah, it said Eagles on it, and then it said LG in the middle. So there you go. That's another piece of useless information from Sheffield Eagles for everything about you. But it's like I said, if you want to come on, please click the link that said Zoom there. You're more than welcome to come on the show, talk about your memories, your lives, everything. Do you prefer the old badge or the new one? I like the new one. I do. I like the new one. I think it's modern. It looks nice. There's no mistaking that's an eagle. I've got nothing against this one, but this one always reminded me of Manly Warrior Eagles in Australia. That's where this design always seemed to come from for me. I didn't have nothing against that, but it just didn't seem true to us. That's a Sheffield Eagles that. There's no other Eagles got like that one. That is fantastic. It looks great on the jerseys. It looks great on all the merchandise. I think it's fantastic to see it now and everything. I do love this new badge. I do like it a hell of a lot. It's wonderful to see. And it really, really stands out. And especially when you do it in the different colors with the jerseys and things like that, it looks fantastic. I really, really do think it's amazing things, but and everything. But thank you very much to everybody. That the new one looks as good as a tattoo. I bet it does, Andrew. You've got your tattooed, haven't you? That's another one there. To Michael tonight, thank you very much for saying he likes this shirt. The 2013, 2014 jersey. It was the 30th anniversary anyway. It was the away jersey for when we was at Oleton Stadium, when we went back to Oleton. It was based on the first colours of the club, and it took me a long time to get this one. But no, the jerseys and everything, they're part of history. They always will be. I don't know which one I'm going to wear yet. I really don't know. It's got to be a special one for the special event. It might be me away one that says Super Joel on the back. I think it might be. I think it definitely might be the new blue away one, because I really, really, really do like that blue away one. It looks fantastic. So I think everything's going to look great anyway. Anyway, I'm going to split out of here. I know it's only been a short one tonight, but thanks very much to Richard who popped on and talked all about the Heritage Project. It's been a wonderful, wonderful night. I will see you guys tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Who knows who'll be on? I don't know yet, but I'll see if we can get somebody to pop on anyway. It's been an amazing adventure. It's been 9 years of away, but it's one day closer. It's the 17th of May, and it's now 6 days, 6 short days till we're back against Widnes. I pity anybody that come. If anybody from Widnes is watching and want to come there, well, I think this is the one night where the Eagles are going to roar, and we are going to roar massive. Take care, guys. Good night. God bless. I will see you again tomorrow for another Eagles chat. Good night. God bless. Bye-bye.